How's the beard look?
Looks all right.
It's trimmed up a little bit better. Got looking pretty.
Still look like shit.
Are we on yet?
Yeah, actually, we are.
Shit.
Hey, what's up? We are the Last Pick Sports Podcast. We are here to talk sports.
God damn it. Run it again.
Fuck it, let's keep it. I'm tired of doing it. Hey, we are the Last Pick Sports Podcast. We will give you our view of sports as regular dudes. We might offend you, but we'll give you different ideas, and we'll have a damn good time doing it. And we don't really care what you think. We are brought to you today by the generous folks of Ghost Town Brewing in St. Augustine, Florida. Coming to you live in the loft. Hope you have a great time, guys.
Big country out. Big country in, unlike the Cubs offense, which has been nothing but outs.
Down and out. Down and out, man. Downtown, huh? Looks like more like down and out to me.
Good news. It's a 7-game series. As one of my friends said, it's still early. I said yes. So plenty of time for things to go absolutely even more worse than they already are.
What's up, guys? We're the Last Pick Sports Podcast. This is Maddie and Smitty coming to you live from the loft. I always say live, but no one ever listens to it right now. So, to kick it off, man, let's give you a rundown here real quick. We're going to talk a little Purdue football. Darrell Hazell / PJ Fleck. We're actually going to describe what flecking is. It's a term that came up in a group chat of my college buddies. Hail some good people from North Manchester, Indiana. And we discussed what flecking actually is. And someone suggested that I should do a segment on the show. So we're going to do a segment on the show about what flecking is.
Do they listen to the show?
Some of them do, actually, believe it or not. They always give me shit. Every time that I fuck up something on the podcast or fuck up something in a text message and I say something off the cuff, they're like, "You have a podcast. You should know this shit."
I thought we have lives.
I don't just do this all the time.
There's actually people out here that listen to this.
There actually is. I get shit for it at times, which is shocking. Which, to get us kicked off, we're going to go with a little Darrell Hazell, Purdue football. We're going to run down Notre Dame, that team that attempts to look like a football team in South Bend, Indiana, which is just not looking like a team at all. We're going to run in the Florida game just because I was there and I got a good story for you. That'll always be fun. We're going to hit the big-time Jaguars win. We are on a fucking winning streak as Jags fans.
That's two thus far, shooter.
It's two thus far, shooter. Famous quote, Happy Gilmore, thank you. The Jaguars get a big win. I just almost said the Cubs. We're watching the Cubs.
They ain't winning
currently.
shit. Sorry,
down
Saps.
4-0. It's the bottom of the sixth, and the Cubs on offense look just like they're lost. They don't know how to swing a bat anymore. Here goes Yasiel. Another back to the mound, and he's going to get a single. Okay. So basically, it's not the Cubs' night. I did spend $20 on him, but that's ridiculous.
Darrell Hazell.
So we're getting Darrell Hazell.
Two numbers.
We'll also do a wrap of our picks at the end, plus some new and exciting news about a possible sponsor, which we are really happy to talk about. So Darrell Hazell in Purdue.
Two numbers. 9, 33.
Is that the amount of pass attempts they had for how many yards they had?
The first one is the number of wins.
I assumed
the second one is number of losses.
I was going to say, so Purdue quarterbacks this last weekend were 9 passes or 33 attempts for 9 yards.
Shit, they scored 35 points.
I know. They actually scored.
Old Darrell is a great guy. Not a good football coach. We could probably go out on a limb and say that. The surprising thing is there hasn't been a lot of support for Darrell since he's been fired. Danny Hope got fired. And a lot of players came out, and he's a real players coach, and everybody thought Darrell was...
No one said a word.
Darrell thought he was a players coach, and everybody was kind of like, like the guy, but 9 and 33. Gerard Parker takes over, not to be confused with Gerard Butler. Wide receiver coach, recruiting coordinator.
Mr. 300, Gerard Butler, by the way.
What?
In case anybody didn't understand. He was the guy there won 300, man.
Yeah.
He was not Spartacus. He was King Leonidas.
So a lot of people raise the question why Terry Malone, longtime offensive coordinator, a lot of experience, wasn't promoted. And two things. I think this is really a smart move by the AD, Mr.
Yeah, where do you
Babinski.
feel? Where do you fall on this? By the way, you've been kind of a supporter and kind of a hater
of
Hazell. Like at times,
I love the hire.
You want to get behind.
I really
Darrell
wanted
Hazell.
to get behind him, but
you just
like,
can't.
Just like our defensive line, he couldn't get behind anybody. So
Love the reference.
I love the move to promote your wide receiver coach, recruiting coordinator. Because that gives your recruiting coordinator full reins.
It should keep your recruiting
full
class
reins to
intact.
keep your recruiting class.
Yeah,
Here's the thing: the biggest commit, which isn't, I mean, he's probably like a 3-star. It's not like a 5-star, but Purdue doesn't get 5 stars, so that doesn't matter anyway. The biggest commit was on campus Sunday. He was at the game Saturday, on campus Sunday, when Hazell got fired, and he called all the other commits, all other 13 kids in the class, and told them the news, and they all pledged to stay.
Well,
and they all committed.
That's a good thing.
They all committed with the idea that Hazell might not be there, so they like Purdue.
I think as a guy going into Purdue, you would have to assume that that's a possibility.
Now the thing about
Obviously, that
Parker,
became reality on Monday.
Sorry, to catch up.
Actually, it came on Sunday, right?
Yeah, it came on Sunday. The thing about Parker is it gives you the opportunity to be successful. So if they promote Terry Malone
The weight's
as the offensive
off
coordinator,
his shoulders. It doesn't matter.
if you promote Terry Malone as offensive coordinator, you have an Ed Orgeron situation. If he goes somehow fucking 4-2 down the stretch, everybody's gonna call for him to be the head coach.
Hire his ass. Fine. Fuck it. He's a recruiting. College football has come down to two things. College football is recruiting.
But that's not
Here's
what
the
you
deal.
need.
And college football is recruiting, but then again, I look at like a Notre Dame situation, and I look at, okay, they've had top 15 classes the last like 3 years, and they still suck.
Yeah.
So something's
Here's
wrong,
the thing.
obviously, in South Bend, but I mean, at a place like Purdue, you just got to get better athletes, and they don't have those. Notre Dame has superior athletes who are just losing.
Yeah.
And so there's something obviously wrong in a different
Did
sense.
you see he blamed God the other day? That was the last person thrown to the bus for Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly threw God under the bus.
I think so.
God's not on his side? You're the fucking head coach
So-
of Notre Dame. How the hell is God not on your side? You kidding me?
So here's why I love the Parker promotion. Because he's a young guy, it's not going to affect his career.
No.
If he goes out there,
he loses, he's expected.
they're 3-3. If he goes out there and goes 0-6,
No one's going to say a word.
he's going to go get another wide receiver coaching job.
Or an offensive coordinator job. Or you know what? Hey, if he wins 2 games in the offense,
Then it
looks
might
better,
promote his career.
Yeah.
If Terry Malone goes out there and does bad, or does good, everybody's gonna call. If Jared Parker goes 6-0, no one's gonna call for him to be the head coach.
I would.
If Terry Malone goes 6-0, everybody's gonna call for the head coach, and that might just be prolonging your problems because you have to have somebody in there.
I just think what they did was smart.
That is completely different. So I love what they did. Now, as far as what they're gonna do, Babinski, the AD, knew from Georgia Tech, came out and said money's not an issue. And 2 board of trustees came out and said money's not an issue.
If money's not an issue,
Now, here's the thing.
$5 million is on Les Miles' head, and that was what was given to me by JC Online, which is the local Purdue newspaper, and they said it would take $5 million to get Les Miles to Purdue. Now, Les Miles is 61 years old.
That's not a guy you want.
Not. I don't know if it's not a guy you don't want. It's just not a long-term option, but it's an option for. It's kind of like when Spurrier took the. South Carolina job. It wasn't a long-term solution, but it might have jump-started your program in the right direction.
Yeah,
and I would say for South Carolina it worked. They're struggling right now, but they had some good years. They got on the map again. Let's put it that way. South Carolina hadn't been on the map for a long time, and they're not really an on-the-map team, if you will. They're kind of a basement SEC East team, and that's just what they are. And
Purdue,
before Spurrier was there, that's definitely what they were on.
Here's the thing that bothers Purdue fans about Les Miles. Fred Akers. Fred Akers was at Texas. He went 86-31. He went 11-1, 9-3, 9-3, 7-5, 10-1, 9-3, 11-1, 7-4, 8-4, 5-6 was fired.
Okay.
Purdue hired him as a big splash hire.
When was this?
In 1987.
Okay. This is the year after I was born.
He went 12-31 at Purdue, and it had the worst stretch of Purdue football until Darrell Hazell came along. So Purdue fans don't exactly have a good memory of bringing back a coach that had been fired from a big school.
Well, I can understand that. Yeah.
I think, and all Purdue fans think this, Notre Dame fans, you have an idea of who you want as a Notre Dame football coach, and Purdue fans have a mold of who they want as a coach. And right now,
to say that I know who the fuck I want as a Notre Dame fan is there's one answer to that. There's one name that comes to mind. The only guy that if you're going to fire Ron Kelly,
John
tomorrow,
Gruden.
It's John Gruden. Literally.
But see, Notre Dame guys are always going to have offensive guys.
I had no idea. I want fucking John Gruden.
Notre Dame's always going to hire offensive guys. And that's fine. But here's the thing, you understand.
Well, and I get that because I'll tell you what. In that area where they're recruiting from, it's tough to get really, really talented defensive linemen.
And that's shown over the years.
And that's shown over the and not necessarily over the years, but the last 10 to 15 years, it's definitely shown.
So here's the deal.
Because back in the 80s and 90s, they were putting defensive tackles, defensive line guys in the NFL all the time. Last one, Justin Tuck. I mean, Chris Zorich. There's been all sorts of guys.
But you could be, and here's what I think people don't understand, because they didn't understand about Tiller. You could be a great offense and a not good defense, but have a good defensive line. It's just like the Colts and Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
Your defense line could be really good, and your defense could not be good because of how much time they're on the field with the ball.
And that's a perfect example. Like, you take the Colts, and the Colts, when they had Manning, they said, okay, we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to be ahead in the
We need a pass rush.
So what's the one place on defense that we have to be strong? Defensive line. You got to get after the pass.
That's where the den of defensive ends came from the Tiller era.
Exactly. So they recruited offensive weapons. They recruited offense
and defensive
line. And that's pretty much it. Because there's not a lot of DBs that came from that Purdue secondary over the years. Not a lot of good DBs. Okay, but you didn't have to be good. You had to cover for 2.5 seconds. So that's not that hard. So
speaking of Tiller, when Tiller was hired, they went out to Wyoming and pulled this old boy off the farm in Wyoming. Had an unbelievable offense, basketball and grass. It was spread offense before the spread offense was popular, and it was great success. So Purdue fans are thinking, you got to go and get somebody that's different.
Tiller's spread was totally different than the modern days.
Well, I mean, it was almost Texas Tech air raid.
It was air raid. It was straight. We're going to get up and down the field as fast as possible can. We want our ideal drive is in 4 plays.
So
4 plays is our ideal drive. That's what they were trying to do.
A couple names being floated. I'll give you my top. Top one. I'll
start with the first one. We're going to go down this list here.
Hold on, let me give you my top.
All right, let's give you your top.
I'll let you. There's so much shit out there. Let
me go with not the facts, but yeah.
Let me go because I've read all this shit. Let me go with the list I compiled. I have like 9 names.
Knock yourself out.
And you just add in.
Okay.
First one, Bob Stitt, Montana.
I like Stitt.
He is the guy you want that Purdue fans want offensively.
Yeah, no, I listened to Bob Stitt talk at the Nike Clinic about 3 years ago. Great guy.
He's a guy you throw a lot of money at.
Great guy. Not only is he a great guy, he's had a lot of success at the FCS level, and he's been at Montana for like 9 years. So he's been there for a long time. He was I want to say he was in Montana for a long ass time.
Another thing.
Okay, go on.
By the way, one thing being floated is they're going to go after one of the myriad Ohio State assistants. Terrible idea. They've hired 2 Ohio State assistants in their football career at Purdue. They don't work. Ohio State and Purdue are nowhere near the Coast State program. You can't do the same shit.
Sorry. So Bob Stitt, just a correction, was at a place. He's only been in Montana 2 years, but he's been really good. He's 6-2. They're 5-1 right now. They're 2-1 in the Big Sky. So yeah, he went 8-5 last year and 5-1 this year. But he was at a place called Colorado Mines, which is literally a desolate place. He turned that team into something that was relevant.
108-62.
And he was at Colorado Mines from 2000 to 2014. So he obviously has no problem staying at a place. I don't know how old he is. He's 52, so he's not a young guy. But that's perfect. That's like a perfect guy to take over your program at that point in time and go from there. So that'll work.
My number 2.
Go on.
And a guy I don't know a lot about personally. I would Jeff Brom, Western Kentucky.
Well, Jeff Brom was a hell of a quarterback for, I believe, the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, he was a Louisville Cardinal guy.
Did he play?
Cardinal.
Did he play under